What's up, y'all? So I'm making a second video on AI art because I think this topic is super fascinating to discuss. If you haven't seen my first video, go watch it after this video, and I will leave a link to that in the description. So today I will be addressing AI artists, or you AI art bros. I don't know what to call you guys. People who are passionate about AI art creation. I thought it'd be fun to go through some pro AI art arguments and respond as a traditional leaning artist and give my perspective to hopefully add some dialogue to this discussion. Just to forewarn y'all, if you haven't seen my first video, I think AI is a really neat tool and has the possibility for us in the future to create some really cool art projects. But I think AI in itself cannot create art because it can't create new ideas and it doesn't have a human expression. AI cannot think for itself, and it does not understand human culture and interactions and ideation, which is why I think AI art by itself isn't creating anything new. And that there has to be a human fixing and tweaking things that AI spits out to actually create purpose and a new idea. I get a lot more in depth into this, so just go watch that video. Another thing I have to say before we get into responding to these pro AI arguments is that I am not an artist who is completely against AI art. And I know there are artists who will be watching this that are against AI for some very understanding reasons. Because of that, I want this area to be a discussion so that even if we disagree, we can all be civil and at least learn to appreciate the opposing sides without adding any demeaning labels. Also know that I'm open to changing my mind. So please add your own thoughts and opinions to this discussion down below in the comments. Let's get into it. So this is the start of a Twitter thread where the traditional art community really lost their bananas on the pro AI art community. And reasonably so. This Twitter user made a trained model to make art in the style of Kim Jong-gi. And if you don't know who that is, he's literally a legend. And he made intricate art from just inking straight on the page, all from his head, an amazing detail and story design. Sadly, Kim Jong-gi passed away a few weeks ago, but nonetheless, this guy created a model that replicates Kim Jong-gi's work as homage to him. This is what the Twitter post says. Hi, I just trained a model to draw in the style of the late Kim Jong-gi as homage. I'm fairly happy to share the results, given how complicated his style is. Hope you like it. Feel free to use it by yourself. Credit, please. And then there's like images of what the AI spit out. Oh boy. Look at one of these images that the AI did. Like, look at that. What is this face? What is this face? The AI clearly doesn't know composition or storytelling or like how to even make a social interaction like this. Like recognize a human face, and we'll probably recognize a human face, but like how to make it look like a human face. And artists started commenting on his post, and some of these responses are this. His family told us how to pay tribute. The request is so beautiful and affirming. One little flower. Couldn't be bothered to draw one little flower. What this user is saying in disagreement to this guy's AI model is that to pay homage to Kim Jong-gi and to what his family said was to draw flowers for him and to send it to his family so that they can appreciate it. Copying a deceased person's art style is like teabagging when someone dies in TF2. It's kind of rude, although that's not a good comparison because TF2 is a game and this is real life. The original poster responds and says, "Hey, for some reason a few people are raising concerns about me pillaging his work or disrespecting his memory. Obviously, this work, even if it was perfect, wouldn't replace an artist's mind and talent. It's just a new way of exploring his style. Be cool." And then he also says, it's messy, yes, works better with reference pictures, but it's just a toy. Lastly, yes, it didn't require as much as a lifelong earned talent, but it is work and I'm giving it to all, so I ask people who use it to give credit so we can share it. Our credits go to Kim Jong-gi, obviously. Now what this guy doesn't understand is that he's just trampling on someone who has spent years and years working. And I know that it took time to make this model and stuff, and I know he recognizes that it takes a long time to become a legendary artist like Kim Jong-gi. What he doesn't understand is that it's disrespectful to do that, especially when Kim Jong-gi is held in such a high standard in the professional art world. What he says next to that is, you can either embrace AI art, dismiss it, or hate it. But it's a new tool to make things like every new tool before digital painting 3D. It won't destroy or replace anything, it's just a new weapon in our arsenal. As for the legality of making money out of it, well, I'm not. But someone could make money out of it. There's always that possibility. I do agree with him that AI art is like a new tool for us to use, but the point where I draw the line is using someone else's art style that didn't have specific saying you could use their art style, or stealing and using it when they had passed away. As much as you say it doesn't destroy anything, well, it actually destroys the legacy of Kim Jong-gi's work, especially if you're giving it to an AI to then use and make art when it's just crappy scribbles and the art doesn't really make sense with the amount of detail that Kim Jong-gi actually had in making his own work. The AI just doesn't even compare. Let's dive into what some of these artists are responding to this original poster's post about his model for Kim Jong-gi's art. This user says, because art without a soul isn't art, it goes against everything that art stands for. Art isn't about profit or a pretty picture. AI art will never be real because it will never be someone, nor will it ever say something. It's just disgraceful. I actually agree with this user on the fact that AI art can't be really considered art because there is no, human input. You're just literally just typing something in and then it's spitting something out. There is no new idea or no human expression. It's just a computer expressing itself. There was another user that said, you're an artist pouring your blood, sweat, and tears into perfecting your art. You make your living off of $100 commissions. I make an AI that does the same thing you do in 5 to 6 hours in 30 seconds and sell the counterfeit pieces for $20. Or maybe I'm just setting a precedent. I disagree and agree with this guy because yeah, you can make an AI that can do something a lot faster and it only takes you 5 to 6 hours to create that model. The only thing is you don't really know how to make good art, so the AI itself doesn't know how to make something that's quality. Yeah, it's cool that you can make something quicker, but you don't really have any original ideas and you don't really know anything about art in order to make it valuable. And when this person responds to that guy's comment saying, there's no technical skill or creativity required for this, Kim Jong-gi and many other artists are celebrated because they can create something beautiful and intricate from literal decades of practicing and hard work. AI art in its current form is also stealing from artists. Yes, I do agree with that. AI is stealing from artists, but that's just because people are putting in art without artist permission. Another artist says, actual artists can actually make a work out of nothing. AI art is stealing said work to make something new, and worst of all, charging for it while delivering zero effort on it. It's as simple as that. Another person responds saying, it's exploitation. It'd be just as bad as someone tracing artwork and claiming it as their own. I'm actually pretty neutral to warm towards AI art that doesn't exploit other artists by taking their work. Yeah, I would agree. I actually think AI art as a tool can be really helpful to us artists. To non-artists, it's something that they can use and mess around with it, but they ultimately won't know what looks good and what's can serve a purpose. Now we're getting into a Reddit discussion that I found about AI and AI art, and I actually found this discussion quite amusing. So let's let's read. So this guy here says, I fail to see the issue here. You can't copyright a style. And this is talking about Kim Jong-gi and I think the whole like AI model, or at least people's art style being used into an AI. And now people can continue enjoying Kim's work. Hell, now everyone can basically get custom commissions from him for completely free. I'm sorry that everyone can now draw as well as Kim could, I guess. The only thing is the AI can't draw as well as Kim Jong-gi could, so... And he says his legacy has been immortalized and you're trying to suck his beautiful homage into your butthurt AI wine fest because you can't get likes on Twitter just for playing with pencils anymore. Get over yourself. Oh, this is actually great. This is like pure gold. As much as these people like to think it's a homage, you're just trampling on someone's art legacy. And I'm sure it's neat to you to be able to make art that looks like Kim Jong-gi's work, but it will never have the sophistication and the intricacy of Kim Jong-gi's work. And it ultimately isn't real art because it's just an AI spitting out something that you typed in. It's just responding to what you put in. You can't make anything new. Can't make anything new. And now we get into an artist that ended up responding to this guy. And they said, wow, telling artists that what they do isn't real work is ridiculous. It makes you sound like a prick. You know that AI wouldn't be able to do what it does if it wasn't for the artists who wasted years of their lives playing with pencils, right? There would be nothing to train AI on. It doesn't create art in a vacuum. It needs all those artists who are here taking a dump on. You should really delete this post. It shows a lack of understanding of what it takes to learn a skill, a lack of understanding of both AI and how artists make a living, and a lack of humanity. Yeah, I could agree. And then I like what the original poster on this Reddit guy responds as his reason as to why, so let's read that. So they respond with, sorry if that came up as too aggressive, but really art is an act of creative expression. I would actually say art is the act of human expression. It doesn't have any sort of inherent monetary value and it doesn't really materially benefit society, i.e. it isn't work. I actually disagree with that because art is one of the foundations of culture and it also gives us a view of new ideas and how to express them, as well as creating a tool for us as inspiration to what we can look forward to the future, or as inspiration for new ideas. Art is something that people all want to do, but sadly evolution has cursed the majority of people by denying them the ability to truly express themselves creatively. I actually disagree because I think that anyone can become an artist. It is a learned skill. You have to learn all of the things of like perspective, lighting, and shading, composition. All these things are important to making an idea or a piece of art come to life and be believable and inspirational. It's something you learn. It's not something we are born with. Like, you can look at any little kid's drawing and it will just be like stick figures. Like, us artists, all of us started out like that. You are still stuck at that stage of drawing stick figures. So if you want to learn about art, the best way is actually doing it. And to be a good artist, you kind of have to have that knowledge. You don't have to be good at it, you just have to understand and know about all these little nuances and all of these art principles. And then they go into... That's where this whole business of artists charging money for effectively nothing started, why the attention economy is so unfairly skewed in their favor. Well, the reason why artists can actually pursue being an artist is because we currently have all of these technological advances of luxury and being able to spend the time to make art and be able to make money off of your art. Electricity, a dishwasher, having running water, all these things that you would have to go and do, hunting and gathering, like we can just go to a store and do that. Like, we have time to pursue and develop our culture and to enhance our society and inspire each other by creating art. And they go on and saying, now that AI has leveled the playing field, creating art is effortless like it always should have been. Unfortunately, a lot of artists don't seem to have understood these simple facts despite people telling them to get real jobs and now have been blindsided by the progress. I actually say we haven't been blindsided. as much as AI art might be leveling the playing field, the only leveling it does is a matter of skill, like technical skill. The one thing it doesn't do is ideation or creativity, be able to create something that actually can have value and be inspirational for us humans in our society. And this guy continues responding to the other person. Art is a talent, not a skill. A talent is something that people are naturally born with, not something they can acquire. I disagree on this because being able to come up with new ideas and creative solutions, you have to be someone that has learned and taking in all this information to be able to make something new or make something valuable. If we all played with crayons as kids, why aren't we all masters with a pencil now? Because it takes years of practice and learning and passion and dedication, which clearly you did not have because you probably wanted to do something else, which is fine. Okay, just don't go saying that you know about art and that you know everything about art, because if you don't practice and you don't understand the art principles, then you're not gonna know. Sure, it may take a little bit of time to hone that talent, but to put it on the same level as a career like a doctor is absurd. I actually disagree. I think, as I said before, art is fundamental to our society and progress in our culture and innovation. Da Vinci, he was an inventor and an artist at the same time. They both were hand in hand. It's being able to come up with new ideas and draw them, or at least being able to put them in a way that shows people your idea. AI is just another tool for us artists to be able to do that. It's not replacing us. It's giving us something so that we can make stuff faster and better and be able to give our ideas to people easier. A doctor might find themselves in a place without a computer, at least for short periods. Nobody really cares whether an artist can paint a masterpiece in the middle of a war zone or a blackout. I would agree with this, yeah. When society doesn't have that peace, it can't really progress and it can't really grow, especially when there's conflict. So yes, it makes sense. You can't progress unless there is peace and a reason to innovate and grow our society and culture. In the future, when AI takes over more fields, there will need to be a discussion about what professions are worth pursuing in that's life. Yeah, pretty much. And this guy finally concludes with, I know exactly what art is and what it is for, which is why I'm so glad to say that human artists are obsolete. It is not fair that so much of the human population was locked out of true creative expression, and now that AI has changed that, the people who benefited from the hierarchy are melting down. It sounds like you need to reevaluate your understanding of art, or were you just doing it for the attention? Yeah, so I would disagree. Human artists are not obsolete. The only ones that are obsolete are the ones that aren't contributing anything new and are just copying artists, just like the AI. The AI itself isn't creating anything new. As I keep saying, it's just running through ideas, and I know it is learning from the previously made art and stuff, so it does have that capability of learning, but as of right now, it cannot think for itself because it's artificial. As for us artists locking out true creatives, I don't actually think that is the case, because us humans are able to create and are able to express ourselves. What it really comes down to is how you do that. It can either be through your words, speech, art, music, dance, performance, acting. It is just the human society as a whole being able to relate to one another and express new ideas. I mean, even comedy is something. It is addressing a new perspective on a topic that we already know and adding something that is adding humor to that topic that we wouldn't have seen in another light. That's what creativity is. We all have the capability of being creative. The only thing is, when it comes to a singular image or a visual piece of art, you have to know the art principles in order to be able to share your idea or innovation or creation properly without confusion. And now we're going back onto Twitter, because this whole Reddit conversation was then ended up posting on Twitter. An industry professional artist named Carla Ortiz ended up making a valuable perspective that I thought was interesting. So she goes and shares this image of Dance Fusion, which is a AI bot that creates music from music that was inputted into the model. And she responds as this: let me present to you the way Stability AI has handled their music model Dance Diffusion. And then it goes on showing explaining what dance diffusion is. And dance diffusion is built on databases composed entirely of copyright-free and voluntarily provided music and audio samples. Because diffusion models are prone to memorization and overfitting, releasing a model trained on copyright data could potentially result in legal issues. In honing the intellectual property of artists while also complying to the best of their ability with their often strict copyright standards of the music industry, keeping any kind of copyrighted material out of training data was a must. And that makes sense, right? Because there's people that have copyrighted music. The only thing is there should also be a copyright to art. I mean, that's why we have a copyright law, right? And then Carla Ortiz says, where was this care and consideration for visual artists, small businesses, and the general public? What are the companies like Stability AI, Stable Diffusion, Dream Studio, and Midjourney doing to rectify this? Will they compensate affected artists, or will they shut down operations and shift to the public domain datasets in order to meet with the standard Stability AI's own music AI software complies with? I need artists to understand these folks are exploiting your work and your rights, and the only reason they do this to us is because we assume it's bound to happen. Or we play the game of it's just a tool when it's more than that. It's companies deliberately taking, using, and profiting off of our data. That they abide by ethical practices elsewhere shows us that they could have done that with us, but they chose not to. I 100% agree on this aspect. The fact that these visual 2D AI art programs are taking art that is not given the rights to is, in a sense, stealing the work and using it, stealing art that is copyrighted for the AI program to learn from. And that is a valuable point in saying that there's already an AI that is using data that is not copyrighted and that is given from an artist's choice of will. The fact that these AI art models haven't been doing the same thing really tells you that they don't really care about the artists who made the art that actually helped the AI learn. Of course, the world is unfair, so it makes sense why someone would do that. And my biggest point in this whole entire video is that if you are going to be creating art, you should really be learning about the art fundamentals and about art as a whole. And this, I'm just talking about visual art. I'm not even talking about music. And I say this because there's a crap ton that goes into creating a piece of art. There's a lot of knowledge and a lot of history. There's just lots. And to those of y'all who can only look at art and can tell the difference between good art and bad art, or rather art you would prefer over art you don't prefer, you don't get the full picture. If you're just an onlooker, you don't really know what exactly goes into creating a piece of art. Creating good art comes from making art believable. What I mean by this is that you can't create art until you understand all the rules and the techniques behind art, like understanding perspective, understanding line, form, lighting, color, composition, all these others. And with all of those fundamentals, you also have to imbue purpose, reason, and with the story and with the good design, or having an idea that you want to portray. There are so many mistakes that AI in itself makes when it's creating the art because it does not understand these art fundamentals. So AI does keep learning, so the more we can correct its mistakes, the more it can learn and possibly come to a point where it can somewhat understand these elements of art. You AI art bros should be wanting to make friends with us traditional artists. Otherwise, how will you know that the perspective is off or like the anatomy is whack? Like, if you don't know squat, you're just letting the AI do all the work, and how is the AI gonna even know? Because if you don't know, the AI don't know. Y'all just take a quick glance and see, yep, it's good, without really going into the nitty-gritty of what makes a good piece of art. And also what makes art valuable. A lot of you are saying that art is not valuable, but the only thing is you don't know the true value of art, so I'm trying to explain it to you. But even if AI is eventually able to learn the elements of art, it won't be able to create any new ideas or be able to explore the nuance of human experience and human expression. It can't really even tell a story, and it can't even relate to us on a human-to-human level. Which is why I say that AI art won't be the end of us traditional artists. Y'all AI bros still need someone who understands the fundamentals and the principles of art and has an eye to help correct the AI when it is making those typical art fundamental mistakes. You still need someone who understands the art fundamentals and has an eye to correcting the AI's mistakes, as well as adding purpose and value and meaning, and to add that human creation and ideation. We, as fellow people having this disagreement, can actually be fixed. And I think there is a solution that might be able to make both parties happy. You AI art bros want your AI models to be able to learn and produce quality art, and us artists don't want to have our art taken without our permission and used to help train these AI. Now, it might be a little bit late to already fix some of the existing AI models because it is already learned and from the stolen pieces of work. But I actually think making a new AI model and getting artists like myself on board to help contribute art for the AI to learn, adding incentives to us artists to contribute art, and to help the AI improve anatomy, perspective, color, shading, composition, all the art fundamentals. Together, I think we could make an incredible tool that both artists and non-artists could use. I would absolutely love to have an AI tool that can help me with my iterations when I'm working on an already existing character design. Like if I had like a character design base and could be able to like branch off and make different iterations, that would be like amazing. I would gladly help an AI learn in order to make a tool that makes my process of designing in iterations faster, because I have so many ideas myself that I can't really draw all of them and I have to pick and choose. So having an AI be able to make all of my heart's desires, like, that would be amazing. So if any of y'all are working on a new AI model and need some help from an artist perspective, hit me up. As long as you think it's something I would be interested in. Of course, there's gotta be something in it for me. A little give, a little take. That's how we're all gonna grow in this, okay? That's how we're gonna make something bomb sauce. Ultimately, for any artist, whether that be a traditional artist or an AI enthusiast, you should not be relying on technology by itself to create art. Humans are what makes art. So never underestimate your ability to create and ideate. I hope my thoughts and opinions were interesting to you. Please feel free to share your opinions. I like to explore new ideas and different perspectives. I'm just an insignificant art hermit that likes to learn new things, so please enlighten me. That's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment down below, and otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.